Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished professors, dedicated research scholars, passionate students, and fellow history enthusiasts. We are honored to have such a diverse gathering of minds join us for today's session organized by Scholars Circulī. The Scholars Circulī is a thoughtful initiative by like-minded individuals committed to creating a vibrant forum for the sharing of historical knowledge. It aims to foster a space where diverse ideas can be freely expressed and critically engaged with. Through lectures by both eminent and emerging scholars, the forum provides valuable opportunities to explore the vast and dynamic field of history. As a collective, it strives to support researchers in presenting their work to a wider audience, while encouraging meaningful discussions and enriching debates that contribute to the growth of the historical community. Today, we are honored to have with us Dr. Susmita Banerjee as our research person. Dr. Banerjee is currently serving as an assistant professor of history and Indian knowledge systems at the Assam Royal Global University, Guwahati. She completed her PhD from Tripura University with specializations in subaltern studies, tribal history, gender studies, and ethnography, particularly focusing on Northeast India. A gold medalist in history, she has an impressive record of publications and presentations in both national and international academic forums. Beyond academia, Dr. Banerjee brings with her diverse professional experience as a journalist and senior news anchor, and she is presently a part-time commentator for Doordarshan Tripura. Her interdisciplinary engagement and wide-ranging expertise make her an insightful and distinguished speaker for today's session. We're truly grateful to have her with us, and we are eagerly anticipating an engaging and intellectually enriching session under her guidance. With this, I would now like to hand over the session to Dr. Susmita Banerjee.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? If someone can,
Yes.
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you so much. So I am really humble and glad that Nivetha, while giving the introduction, told that it is for emergent and for the eminent scholars. I am in the section of the emergent scholar. So thank you so much for that. And I also teach history in the Assam Royal Global University along with the Center for Indian Knowledge Systems. So, I must start with something. Just give me a second. So when I got this opportunity, when Joseph told me that, can you speak on the Dalit history on this date? So I told him that, see, it's not maybe an area of my expertise, but it's really an area of my interest. And that's why on the very outset, I would request to each and everyone here, we all are scholars, some of the eminent scholars, stalwarts are here with us. I can see my sir, Sajal Nag sir is here today, and I'm really tensed to see him here. However, now, then we all are friends, we are all are scholars, we are emergent scholars, and eminent professors are also here. And so let us not make it a lecture session. Let us make it as a platform of discussion, because the topic that I'm going to discuss, or we will discuss today, is a very sensitive topic, and it's a very it's a very close to heart topic. It's about the Dalit historiography, one of the marginalized section of the history that has not been focused yet, that it should be focused on. So let us not make it a pyramidal process of lecture Q&A session. Let us make it a session of discussion. Anyone can raise hand and can, if want to put any input while I'm speaking, most welcome. Okay, because I am also here to learn while expressing what I know about the Dalit historiography. So while we are discussing about the Dalit historiography, on the very outset, I want to start with a story. Oh, but before that, I think I need to share my screen. I am very bad into all this thing. I have already discussed with Joseph regarding that. Joseph, if I can't do this, please help me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. and trying my best. Is it visible? No, right?
No, no, no.
Right now. Is it?
No, no.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
it's visible.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah. Just give me a moment how to do this. Yeah. So, on the very outset of starting this discussion, I would like to share some of the experiences of mine, that how this topic, this Dalit historiography or Dalit history, became a part of interest of mine. So when I was in class 6, I remember in our social studies class, we got a picture book. So that picture book was about a person. Now, that time it was about a person. Now it is not. This is about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And the picture book used to show that what are the atrocities he had to face into his school because of his, his societal structure, or his societal resemblance, that who he was from which community. So his community had given his another identity, and for that identity, what he has to face into his educational institution was a picture book, and how he had overcome all these things and became Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the father of the Indian Constitution, was actually the history into that picture book. So I came from a family where discrimination was not an issue, and I have never understood that how a person can be judged from his community background, or his or her community background, or his or her identity. So that was a first thrust for me, that okay, this can also happen into a society. And that led me towards understanding communities, the social structure, and the social identities a little bit better, though I was a school student at that time. Later, after some years, I became a student of history in my university. I was an integrated master's degree student. I remember during my 4th semester, a teacher of ours, her name was Them Kipgan ma'am. So she was a political science professor of ours, and she taken us for a picture screening session in our university. So that picture was Fandry. Is anyone of you have heard the name or have seen the picture Fandry? Anyone? Fandry? No, I don't think so. So it's a phenomenal movie. I must say, it's spectacular. So the movie goes like that. Kid, a boy, a teenager boy from a Dalit community section of a village, he started to like a girl from his class who was a little bit upper class, upper community, from upper community or upper status in their village. So there was a good friendship between them. They were having good, they had good time. They used to roam together, had good time and all. So one day her brothers had seen that his sister is roaming with that guy who is from a little bit lower section of the society. So what he did, he had bought different pigs from different other village, and there was a dump yard which used to, cleaned or cleaned by a particular section of the society or the community of people of that society of that village. So that guy used to be from that community, from that Dalit community. So he called his father, that guy's father, that the kid, the boy's father, to clean that dump yard and clean those pigs from that dump yard. And that girl had seen that this boy was being humiliated while cleaning that dump yard. And that was highly embarrassing, humiliating. Like, if you can understand, if you could have seen it, that scene actually pierced my heart that very badly that day, that even now when I'm speaking about that, scene in front of you, I have my guards are sometimes my guards are also reacting. So it was so humiliating at that time. That girl had seen that her maybe someday anything, something had been changed into them, maybe her love companion or her companion or maybe her good friend of hers, on which she was a little bit interested, and the boy who was interested on that girl, she had seen that that boy was cleaning the dump yard and doing the most humiliating work or the lowest level of work of that village. And thus their friendship came to an end, and the movie revolves like that. That was another banger for me, and to understand how this, this society, the societal norms, the caste-based discrimination work. And while I'm trying to read about this thing, I had found very small empirical sources, resources, or archival sources, historiography on this particular historiography. Mostly it's all about literature, memory, and the experiences people had seen, and it is being documented through maybe movies, some of the vernacular literary articles, some of the vernacular literary books, and so on. But wide number of historiography is missing. So today, when I would be talking on this topic, I would be focusing that what I'll be focusing in the very nuances of the Dalit historiography, and I want to just discuss that why it is important and how we can take help, or how we can take, how we can be influenced by the writings of the stalwarts like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and, of course, E.V.R. Periyar. So in the very outset, at the very beginning of the slide, you can see that why Dalit historiography is important. I tried to focus into that. So it is very normal, like all the marginalized history, all the subaltern history, tribal history, gender history started like that. And we always speak, this line is a very common line I always speak, that it is long dominated by the elite nationalist and upper caste narratives, of course. And we had seen the colonial history. It's a common narration of the colonial history, administrative history, nationalist history, which started from the British archive. And we also now challenging that British archival historiography in some cases, because we feel that even those historiographies that had been narrated are also debatable. So maybe there are some of the ideas or some of the narrations of the upper caste reformers. There are different historical writing which are discussing on the political sovereignty, colonial resistance, nation building, but it had not discussed about the lived realities of caste oppression, untouchability, humiliation, exclusions, etc. And while I'm using this phrase, history from below, here I'm trying to signify a shift from elite archives to the everyday experiences of memories, testimonies, literature, and struggles of the oppressed classes. So in this context, the Dalit history is basically a radical, it's not merely a recovery project, but it is a radical critique of the epistemology that we already have, the history and the historiography itself has yet, or it is continuing. So that is why I think the Dalit historiography is very much important, because it can redefine the archive, the archival evidences, and the historical agencies that we already have along with us. Now, it is, and this led towards the next slide, where I have tried to discuss that the silence of the mainstream historiography, that it maybe the historians, it is the time for the historians to rethink the way the history had been written, and to constitute a valid archive again, with inclusion of all these sections, with inclusion not only the Dalit historiography but the gendered historiography, tribal historiography, etc. So the official state records maybe gives us the census reports. There may be any census report, okay, at that time they are in 1930s or 1920s, there are this amount of Dalit community people were there. But what about the live experiences? What about the live humiliation? What about the the everyday experiences, the everyday caste violences they had to follow? If Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, before becoming B.R. Ambedkar, had to face, as a kid, as a child, he had to, he did not have access to drinking water, while being a person, a little bit of privileged person, because he had the privilege to go to school, have education, and etc. What about those from those communities who even did not have that kind of privilege? What kind of humiliation they had to follow? That had been followed, that had been overshadowed. Oh, I have written often overshadowed, but these narratives are hugely overshadowed from the historiography, the common historiography, mainstream historiography that we are having. So that's why what we have to do now, let us see that, according to me, what are the methodologies we can follow for refine these gaps, to fill those gaps. We can go for the mostly we can do for all kind of subaltern history that we are working on in the gendered history, all the horizontal pattern of the histories we have seen in the subaltern historiography, the gendered history, the tribal history, the tribal upliftment or the gender upliftment, whatever it is, we have to focus into the oral narratives, because these had become a very important section of writing history now, which had been overshadowed from the mainstream historiographies. I have told in the very beginning that there are very literary works are there, different autobiographies, testimonies are there, which we have to see, that because those autobiographies, I can now recall the name of Jhutan or Karaku are there. Those are the autobiographies where it had, those are the autobiographies that had been written, that what are the real, atrocities that had to be followed by those people. Those are the testimonies. There are different pamphlets and speeches, like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had different speeches that he had not published, which we get in the Annihilation of Caste letter. So these are some of like this. There are such more speeches, pamphlets are there, which we can use as a methodology to restore the Dalit historiography. Dalit literature and songs are there. There are different songs which describe the atrocities and the everyday experiences Dalit people, the Dalit communities have to follow. And now, as we are very much into the social media is working a very good platform to make it viral, quote unquote, again, so that we can get access to all these resources to write Dalit historiography, to fill the gap of the Dalit historiography. There are different legal debates on the Dalit community access rights in the different constitutional records are there, where constitution was framing. So these are also important methodology for writing Dalit historiography. Different ritual, memory practices. So if we see, again, I'm bringing the example of, tribal history, because these are all similar. So there are so many memories and practices and rituals were there in the different tribal communities also, which were never documented. Legal practices were there, which were never been documented. So now even I tell my students also, those who are the researchers and doing research, I tell them, please do do research into your own community, document all these practices and memories, because those are the gap areas you can feel. And with those gap areas, it will going to be a very important part of the historiography of the tribals, even the gender, and also the Dalit community itself. So there are different memories and practices, community rituals are there, which had never been, documented properly, because it had been orally exchanged through the generations. So now this is the high time to record them, to write them, so that it can be a great methodology for the resources for writing the Dalit historiography, to understand, to represent the Dalit community and their practices, because all the rituals and all the practices have their own distinctive narrations, own distinctive ideas, own distinctive style, which uphold the community's dignity, the community's what should I say, the community's whole scenario. So these are very important for us. This is one of the most important methodology of writing history from below, or writing history of the Dalits. Vernacular journals and local print cultures, as I also have discussed in the very beginning, that while I try to read about the Dalit historiography, I found the most have been written in the Tamil literature, different Marathi literature. There are so many vernacular journals writing in the printing cultures are there. So these can be helpful, or we can translate it to bring it in front of everyone. Like Periyar's writings are now being translated to understand. So to have a greater community, people, to reach to a greater community, to greater people, to understand the ideas, the ideology that he had been followed regarding women, or the different regarding his own community. So these are the methods, the methodology we can follow to fill the gaps of Dalit historiography. And that brings into my next slide about the importance. So we all know the importance. It's just for the sake of speaking, and for the sake of making a PPT, I have put it here. We all know what is the importance in our subconscious mind also. So of course, to restore the voices of the marginalized, to make it understand, the main process, the main thing of this is to make a major methodological shift, the importance. And the very important, the most important part of this is to democratize the history of our country. We are the biggest democracy in the world, and we feel so proud about our democracy. But when we see into the historiography, we find a big gap. And that gap has to be, and if we can't, fill that gap, that is, I as a historian, I believe that it is a failure to the democracy. So to restore the democracy, to restore the voice of the marginalized, it's very important to restore the Dalit historiography. And by bringing Dalit voices, the literature, protest, memory, etc., it also shows it also fill the gap of the modernity, the Indian modernity. And ultimately, the Dalit historiography, ultimately it shows how the suffering of the regarding the language, regarding the citizenship, the public dignity, everything that had to be faced by a community at all together. This also can bring into focus. For example, when I have gone through the movie Fendry, when I have gone through the atrocities that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had to face, when I had to go through the history of Periyar, and when I had to go through the different, I have very recently, I have watched that movie Jai Bhim. So when I had to go through these movies, and the push, the thrust that I have got, that had to be filled to a greater, to a greater fraternity, to a greater population. So that's why the Dalit historiography is important, because then we can understand what the true events are going on. Then another thing that I have written, and this idea I must share with you all, it had come to me when I was having a brainstorming with my sir, that how, past humiliation should come to you to know that that is something not new to you. Like if in the contemporary situation, me being a Dalit community person, if I am facing something and I do not know how to protest it, how to resist it, then how should I know it? I have to know it from the past occurrences that happened. People had to tell that, see, this is something not new. It had happened with you before and you have resisted it. So as a historian, we all are, I believe we all historians are sitting here. So we historian, what we do a very interesting thing. We bring to people that, see, this thing had happened before and we have resisted all this thing. So now if it happen again, we know how to resist it. If we do not know the historiography, that how if you do not know the history, that how it happened before and how it is going to happen again and how to resist it, then we are sitting, silently. We are taking all the humiliation, we are taking all the atrocities. But if we know, because we did not know that, it happened before and we had the gut to fight with it. So if we can connect the past, we can go to people, give them, different written documents or movies, or maybe, a lecture also, telling them, see, this Mahar tank movement had happened. People did not have, people from the Dalit community could not drink water, but that one B.R. Ambedkar, he had made this satyagraha and access the Mahar water tank for everyone. If we can discuss with them about the Vaikom satyagraha, how it had happened, or whatever, all the any kind of resistance that happened in the past decades, and we can go and tell them that these are the situation that actually happened, and you have fought it, we have fought it, and we can fight it again, then it would be the success of the historiography. So connecting past humiliation is very important to make them understand how to resist it into the contemporary situation. So ultimately, if the historiography had been written and properly could be written, so I think as a historian, it can be making my subject ethically accountable and also democratize my country, as I told before. So this is the importance and why Dalit historiography is needed. And what I have said, I forget because I have a very bad memory. Anyways, so let me go to the next slide, and the next slide is discussing about how can we take influence from Ambedkar and Periyar, the stalwarts of the Dalit historiography. Yeah, so just give me a moment, let me have some sip of water. Yeah, thank you. So now, we all know about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? It is nothing new to tell about when his, I don't need to give him his introduction to any one of you. Let me just discuss that how he had, written, or he had seen the Dalit historiography. So he was a man of letter, and he had seen that caste is, he said that, to see, it is not like that today I wake up someday and one day I'm telling ki, no, there should be a caste discrimination, inequality. No, that is not the way. He said that it is a graded inequality. What is graded inequality? Graded inequality means it is not like only oppressor and the oppressed. There are several distinctions between this oppressor and the oppressed. Abhi aisa ho sakta hai ki, you have even in the Dalit community, people are saying, if you have seen the movie Article 15, there was a scene where there in the official side, the Ashman Khurana was asking everyone, he is saying, I am Kayat, but he is the lower Kayat, and he is the greater Brahmin, he is the lower Brahmin. So this kind of very idiotic conversation was going on there. So just like that, when Ambedkar was talking about the graded inequality is just like that. Even in the Dalit community, there would be some, there would be some people, they'd be saying, no, I am the higher section in the Dalit community, you are lower than me in the Dalit community. So it comes in a graded way. So if maybe it is the Brahmanical structure, then there would be another status quo, then there would be another status quo, and when the Dalit community comes, in the Dalit community also there would be another status quo. So that is all graded inequality. So even in the Dalit community itself, people do not have organization, or they do not have assimilation. They also have this graded sense of inequality. Main bada hu, like I am greater into my own community also. So Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had advocated this, and he said that this is one of the biggest problem of the community, of the caste system, and because it is a graded inequality. Now he is a man of letter. He said, okay, fine, I would do everything, but he had this delete and other things, all of the highest category of educational the degrees that we also fantasize. So Dr. Xavier is saying that, yes sir, right. I lost the message. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, that you were enjoying it. I'm glad. Yes, sir, of course. Graded inequality is a very, very important thing, and I think it is, it is the burning question right now. It's in the contemporary situation. It is, and sir, it is not only in one community, in the Dalit community, but it is into every pattern, in every marginalized history. If we see, if you see in the tribal history also, I would find that people are like that only, that okay, my community is better community, their tribal community is not better like me. And then if it is a gendered history also, me being a woman, I am better, that woman is not good. So this kind of inequality actually persisting in all the marginalized community, and it is making it weaker section. According to me, I feel that is the biggest drawback of the marginalized section and the marginalized history, that this graded inequality, it is not only in caste based, but in gendered, in tribal section, and everywhere, in all kind of marginalized history, we could find this graded inequality. Yeah, so thank you so much. Moving into my next discussion, that it was talking about the emphasis on the law. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, so I was saying, so Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is, as he was a man of letter, so he said, fine, only social reform is not going to work. I have to make it in pen and paper. I have to make it a law. So we all know what happened. Then he became the father of the Constitution, and he started to put rights, and he's tried to change the laws. He tried to put the laws which can, protect the rights and the representation of the Dalit community people. He believed that education is very, very important for revolution. So I also believe this thing, because I have read it somewhere. Now I can recall, even Bhagat Singh also told this thing, that revolution comes from the library. So he believed that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was telling that education is very important to make an organized agitation. If we do not know, do not understand what are the needs of ours, what are the rights, and what is the use of the rights and laws and representation, then there is no need of social reform, because as a social reform will happen one day, and then we do not know what to do with that social reform. Isko khaye ya sar pe rakhe, and then again social reform is going to end. So he said the proper education is very much important to understand the agitation, to understand the real method of organized agitation, and then it only going to work. So he was, as a man of letter, he believed into law, rights, and representation. Now, coming to his historiography, or his write-ups, his narratives, his first historical reconstruction was Annihilation of Caste. So in 1936, he had written that, and thank you so much, Gopinath sir, for your, I'm short of words. I can't recall the word. I'm very bad in memory. My memory is very bad. So the word is, I can't recall. Inspiring. Yeah, thank you for the inspiring message. Yeah. Then I was discussing about the historical reconstruction. So Annihilation of Caste, what he had written in this Annihilation of Caste, he said that caste hierarchy, the critic, it was a powerful critique of the caste hierarchy, and that were basically in Annihilation of Caste, he had basically compiled all his undelivered speech, and this text challenged merely the Hindu sociological order, the Hindu societal order, and he said that scriptural ideological frameworks should be critiqued to change the hierarchical system in the Hindu religious culture. He also said that social reform must precede political reform, and that caste destroyed the possibility of fraternity, equality, and democracy. So as he was a man of constitution, he was saying that what he was saying is right, that if you are discussing about equality, fraternity, and democracy, then how you are also discussing about the caste and the social order. So that is dichotomous, he said, in annihilation of caste. Next, he had written who were the Shudras. In Who Were the Shudras, he historically traced the origins of Shudra category and challenged Brahmanical explanation of social hierarchy. Similarly, in the Untouchables, he had read that from where this the idea of untouchability came. In our history books, in NCERT history books, there was a part on Chandals, untouchability, and this kind of this kind of the whole societal nishadas, Chandals, all this social hierarchy had written very nicely represented there to understand who and what, who are they, how they had made, how Dharma Shastras, Dharma Sutras, Manusmriti had given these ideas that who can stay outside of the society, who can stay inside of the society. And about the Nishadas, that is another interesting thing. About the Nishada, it was like that when they were writing the Dharma Shastra and Dharma Sutras, they actually forget, oh, there are some people who are living in the forest. So after that, when it came into their mind again, oh, there are some people we actually, we forget to authorize them because somehow they had the authority to write about the society. So they said that, okay, we forget to authorize them, let them call Nishadas because they do not have access to the society. And also they're very interesting. Someday I feel like, sometimes I imagine it's like some people sitting with teacup, sipping and saying, okay, let them get outside of the society, let them keep into the society. So this kind of, hilarious things that had been written into the different Brahminical texts. So he had tried to trace them back, that how untouchability had started, how untouchables came, and he reconstructs that historical evolution. And his early essays like castes in India, their mechanism, genesis, and development is equally important because it analytically demonstrates how caste reproduce itself through endogamy and social closure. So if we take together, also I have so I also have discussed about the Buddhism and as ethical reconstruction. So does anyone know about what was the name of the Buddhist idea, or the reconstructed Buddhist idea that in 1956 Dr. B.R. Ambedkar came up? Let us make it a discussion. I'm speaking and I'm feeling thirsty again and again. Okay, so in 1956, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar came up with this idea of Navayana Buddhism. Okay, so Navayana Buddhism is also called known as Bhimayana. He had reconstructed the idea of Pali canons. It is totally different from the other three branches, Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana of Buddhist canonical texts. So he came up with the core principles, new core principles, 22 new vows, and etc. So in 20th century, he reinterpreted the Buddhism, and he also transformed into Buddhism, where he said that the core principle of Navayana Buddhism is about the worldly happiness. A person must be ethical. He must work for the society and for the social equality. He discarded all the the spiritual, supernatural beliefs and reincarnation that other section of Buddhist scriptures or the Buddhist ideas had discussed about. So these are the ethical reconstruction that he had formed in Buddhism, and he also transformed himself into religious transform. He has taken the religious transform, and he also became Buddhist. So these are some of the ideas, or when we are writing the historiography, or when we are trying to fill the gap of history writing of the Dalit historiography, we can take idea from all the narrations that had written here. The book that he had written, yes, the name of the book he has written on the Buddhist ethical reconstruction was The Buddha and His Dhamma. And it is also a great source of resource of writing Dalit historiography, or it can give us an idea that, we can write about all the problems. See, this is the problem, that is the problem, here is this a problem, what is the solution? So the solution can come from the reconstruction of the ideas. With the reconstruction of idea only we can get the solution. And how can we make the reconstruction? We can make the reconstruction from the help of these historiographies that already the stalwarts had given to us. Moving with that, oh my God, something had happened. Is the presentation stopped?
It's still visible.
Okay. So yeah, give me a moment. Yeah. So moving into that, the next thing is I want to discuss the next stalwart I want to discuss, and his way of narrating the. Okay. I'm speaking very fast. Okay, thank you so much for saying that. I'll try my best. I'm always, very much tense that if I get lesser time, if I can finish on time or not. So that's why I keep on speaking very fast. Thank you for show me the ground. Okay. Now, yeah. So I am discussing about the Periyar and his self-respect movement we all know about. So E.V. Ramaswamy Periyar, or Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy, he had contributed the dimension of social memory, radical rationalism, and Dravidian anti-caste politics. So Periyar, what he had done, he said that, see, the problem is in religion. He was very straightforward. So he said, see, the problem is in religion and the sustained rituals, the Brahmanical rituals mostly, already there into the society, which dictates who can, access to what extent. So he was rationalist, he was a radical rationalist, and he was an anti-Brahmanist. So Periyar's contribution, it lies in exposing caste not merely as a legal problem, but as a deeply embedded social and cultural system reproduced through religion, patriarchy, language, marriage, and ritual humiliation. So he was very sociocentric. He said, whatever is happening in the society, this is for this whole system, and the society and culture, it always had reproduced, it had said the religion should be like that, language should be like that, patriarchy should be like that, and rituals should be like that. And if your rituals, and your ideologies are not matching with that processes, then ma'am, I don't know about the certificate, but I can give you the PPT if you want, of course. So yeah, so he said that all these things they are through religion, patriarchy, marriage, and ritual humiliation. So if you can change these processes, then we can change the society and social reform can happen. So self-respect movement, it's a very well-known one. All my historians, can anyone tell me what was the self-respect movement? Okay. So self-respect movement was the movement where the marriage system was challenged by Periyar. So yes.
Suyamanade Yekam Periyar introduced India.
Yeah. No, I want to know that if anyone knows that what was the system, the self-respect system movement was. Vaikam Satyagraha, we all know, right? Vaikam Satyagraha is a very common thing, like the temple movement. People could not. Yes, Balakrishnan, sir is saying something. Right, right. So one of the part of the self-respect movement, it's of course the Brahminical system, and if we particularly talk about, that is the Brahminical system of marriage. The way, the dowry system, the Gotrantar Pratha, the changing of the name, and the Kanyadan system. So all this system, all the ideas of Brahminism on the Manusmriti, the Manu scriptured system of marriage, that was challenged by him. So he said that women are not a matter of dowry, women are not a matter of giving up. So he made the marriage system as a self-respect system, that you be the one who you are, and then you can get married also. And that was a social revolution he had brought. So so what that had done, that had challenged the sacred legitimacy of inequality. Like that would be a normal marriage. There would be no, the Brahminical system also had given different ideas of the marriage, and who can marry whom, and which caste can marry which caste can't marry which caste. So that were also all those processes of, mostly the process of the whole marital process, had been challenged into the self-respect movement. And Periyar had said that this process of legitimacy and inequality are all irrational, and this is this doesn't go with any marital life or marriage system or anything. Anyone's personal life can't be controlled by any dictated way. Now, his different speeches in Tamil journals like at Kuriyarasu, Revolt, created a vernacular public sphere where caste oppression could be named, debated, and challenged. Periyar's anti-caste politics also had a deep resonance with Dalit concerns, especially in his support for Ambedkar. They were the contemporaries we all know during the debates surrounding separate electorates, and he also supported the Ambedkar during the Pune Pact and the separate electorate for the Dalits. So this is something else. We are not discussing. It's another debatable process. Let us not discuss about that. I have just brought this line here to make everyone understand that I am comparatively discussing two contemporaries together and how they have supported each other. Yeah. So the Dalit question, and neither incidental nor secondary, but central to his critique of Brahminism and social inequality. So basically, he had said that no one can dictate the marriage, dress, roads, language, everyday dignity of any community by some books. So that was Periyar's movement. He basically focused into the dignity, everyday dignity of a person, of the basic needs, of everyday basic needs, which cannot be questioned by anyone, any written documents or any person. That led me towards my next slide. And there I have given whatever I was saying, that I was comparatively discussing about two contemporaries. So here I have given an idea of the comparative ideological framework of these two contemporaries, Ambedkar and Periyar. So core root of both of them, one had, as I said, both were men of letter. One had focused into the laws, rights, constitution. He made the rights of the people a law. That he made law that the rights of the Dalit community people or the marginalized people should be protected. Whereas Periyar, he believed into the social revolution. He was a radical. He said protest and mass movement is going to give me the dignity that I want. So that was the social revolution. Values of both, central values of both the stalwarts. He believed in the equality and rights. He said that democracy must give equality and right to all the person, or it can't be a democracy. Whereas Periyar also said the same thing, but he said that we must focus into the self-respect first, that no scripture can guarantee us our life. law and representation, he believed into the method was law and representation. As we all know, he made the laws, as I'm telling again and again. And Periyar, he believed into the rationalistic protest. He said that, as I told you earlier also, all of you earlier also, that he believed into the protest system. He said that, this law representation, it comes secondary. But the protest is the first. You have to raise your voice. You be the voice of your community. You be the voice of your people. Raising voice is very important. Religious response, as I already discussed about the Navayana Buddhism, he given a reconstruction. He had given a solution by changing the religious strata, not being in the Hindu religious culture, changing into the Navayana Buddhism, and etc. Periyar, he was a staunch atheist. He was against all the ideology, all the idols, manuscripts, scriptures, or any kind of religious anecdotes or any kind of religious participation. So he was a total atheist and he believed into the social revolution, still supporting Ambedkar in his different nuances. Goal, all of the goals, both of their goals are almost same. One believed in the social democracy and another one believed into the social dignity. Is my PPT visible?
Yes, visible, ma'am.
Okay. Now let me come to the one of the important part of my slide. I'm extremely sorry. Yeah. So it is talking about the memory, space, and resistance. Now, I have discussed it earlier also with all of you, that how memory works. Memory works when in the contemporary time, see, I have given some of the examples like school path. Very recently, there was an incident in Tamil Nadu where some of the students, children, were going to their school. An elderly lady came with a stick, making them to run away from there, because that path cannot be used by the Dalit students, but by the upper class society, and they were the upper class society in their upper caste people, and it is their own way, and Dalit people cannot use it. So there was a teacher, and I was very happy to see their teacher was he didn't care at all. He taken his students very very carefully. He had taken all his students towards the school. So that is an attack on the dignity. I got a message. Did you know, man, that the people of the random that caste name share name with their name? Okay. No, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you for that. I would like to know it more. If you can write me, or you can message it more. I would really like to know that. Thank you, Balakrishnan sir. So yeah, so these are some of the and every day, mostly in the North India, we are getting the news that grooms, if they are riding horse while they are going to get married, they had been shot by the upper caste people, because this is a symbol of only for the upper caste that they can ride horse. Okay, that is the right to dignity. That is the collapse of the right of their dignity. And we all know about Rohit Vemula case, that he has to give up on his life for the different reasons. I'm not going to discuss about it, because we all know about that, and we are still fighting for his rights and our rights and the Dalit rights. So and this is the custom politics that had happened with him. Now, these are some of the contemporary things that are happening. Why memory is important? As I told you earlier also, memory is important to make you realize that, see, these things are not new that is happening with you. It had happened before. And as it had happened before, it was resisted And as it was resisted, at least you are now getting the chance of education, you are getting the right to dignity, you are getting the, your classroom access. And that did not happen in one day. That happened with different space and different resistance. If it's needed today again, it had to be happen again. That resistance had happened before. And that's where historiography works. And that's where writing history works. Because Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has said that education is the way of organized process of agitation. So if we can educate people, if we can write about what happened in the past, we can write our memory and can feel the gap. We can write the experiences and can feel the gap of the historiography. It will be helpful again for reclaiming the right to education, reclaiming right to dignity, and reclaiming access to all the classroom privileges for the Dalit communities. That's why memory space and resistance is very, very important. And while I'm talking about the archive, to fill the, to alternate the solid archive or the real archive that we are having, we can use our memory as an archive, which can help us to fill the gap of the Dalit historiography that we are facing right now. Discussing into that, if I come to the next one, Rohit, am I taking too much time? Joseph?
Yes, you are.
Is it okay? Am I like I have 5 minutes more or what?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You can take your time.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'll be concluding. It's almost I'm finishing. So now, as I was discussing about the counter archives, so counter archive can be the Dalit literature, counter archive can be the cinemas. I think most of you had seen a very recent movie of Sai Pallavi and Nani of Sam Singha Roy, right? I think some of you had seen it, Sam Singha Roy. So there was one scene where Sam Singha Roy is from an upper caste. He had went to his village, and then there was a well was there. They was not given right to have water from there, and Sam Singha Roy came and took that. He lifted that person and thrown him inside the well and said to the upper community, now he has been thrown into that well, now how you are going to use that well? So this is going to be an water resource for the Dalit community people only. So just like that. So these are some, and it has okay. Wow. Okay, I have not, I somehow I missed this point maybe. Thank you for giving me this knowledge. Right. So Ganesh sir had given a very good information, which I have not, incorporated because I somehow missed it. It's a very good information. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See, this is how it is very useful, this kind of platforms. So yeah, so I was discussing about the Sam Singha Roy. So these are the memories. So these are the counter memories. It had shown that what are the experience one had to face for even drinking water and how it can be eradicated. What are the solutions? Just like that, there are different Dalit literature. I have already discussed about it. I'm running out of time. Let not me just stretch it once more. Jhutan, Karaku, Fandri, I already discussed about Fandri. I would request all of you to watch Fandri once, please. It's a gem of a kind movie. You must watch it. Please watch Fandri. Jai Bhim, it's a very recent movie. I think most of us had seen it. Article 15, it has shown how governance in caste, it had, and it's a thriving, it was a, body wrench, it's a heart-wrenching movie for me. What happened with the kids, Dalit kids, 2 girls, they were not allowed to be the part of the society, but the upper caste, but they are the objects for raping by the upper caste communities. So yeah, so these are some of the movies I would recommend everyone to watch. If there are some other movies also, please recommend me to watch. Jhutan Karuku, I think all of us a little bit have already have read about this. Let me not stretch it more. However, so as we all are celebrating the Dalit History Month and now contemporary Dalit history, I had discussed about Rohit Vemula, and because after 10 years again, as he had not given justice, still this movement is going on, and NCRB data is showing that every now and then Dalit students are facing problems in different institutions. Let me not name the institutions because we all know the names of those institutions. There are different digital assertion are there which are making. There are some profiles, Instagram profiles, Instagram handle, Twitter handle are being formed for reaching a much vast community people, vast population about the history of the Dalits. There are different contemporary incidents had happened. I also already told about the violence against Dalit grooms, Tamil Nadu school road discrimination case, and there is another common burial ground protest happening in Tamil Nadu again. Because they are not giving access, Dalit community people are not giving access into the common burial ground, and there is a protest going on for this with fasting and the protest movements and fasting movements are going on for getting the rights for into a burial ground. Can you imagine, after death also we are not getting, Dalit communities are not getting their own rights. So yeah, social media is a memory archive, as I already said. Memory archive is very important to feel the solid archives that we are having. Lastly, me being a gender historian, I try to find gender aspect into everything. Sometimes I am successful, sometimes I'm not, but here I am successful in getting. So Ambedkar, he had discussed about in his narration, in his different essays that had been written, the books he had been written. He had given labor rights, labor reform acts, legal rights to women laborers. Periyar had done distinctive works. He had done several works on women rights. He had questioned Manusmriti. He had questioned the merit system. He had questioned the different other perspective that pulling women down. So there are different works of Periyar. If I can recall the name, a book. There are different book of Periyar. There is a book. Why were women enslaved? There's a book where he had written all the patriarchal oppression. So see, the gender is oppressed by two ways. One, by the community, and by if she's a Dalit, she has been oppressed. Again, she is a gender, so she has been oppressed by the patriarchy. So both the aspects had been discussed there, and there are different Dalit feminist autographies, historiographies are there coming up in the contemporary time, also coming up. I can name one Urmila Power and Meenakshi Mun's, who also made history, if I'm not mistaking the name. Then there are feminist critics are there, Sharmila Rege's against the modern against the madness of Manu. So these are some of the books, the write-ups, books, essays, articles. There are so many others. I have written all the names there. I can't memorize, of course. So I have written it, but I don't have time. So I'm not going to extend it more. So yeah, these can also be a helpful of writing history. I'm just jumping this slide and coming to the conclusion. So Dalit history is as I said, it can democratize our country. It can, it can give the foundation of the democracy of writing history or the Indian modernity that we assert of. It can redefine archive. It can redefine evidence of citizenship. Ambedkar and Periyar together, if we bring them together, it can give us a national and regional anti-caste framework. Memory, humiliation, and resistance should remain the center of the historical method of writing historiography of Dalit history. And lastly, contemporary India proves the continuing urgency of Dalit historiography. It's very important to write marginalized historiography. Now it is the most important time. And amongst the marginalized history, Dalit history, of course, taking a very vital part. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me. And yeah, and that's all. That's what I have to say. If I have made any mistake, if I have not done justice with this, please sorry for that. But I tried my best.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful and insightful lecture. We will now move on to the question answer session. Those who wish to ask a question may please raise their hand and your name will be called out for easily streamlining the questions. Otherwise, you may also post your questions in the chat box.
Gopinath, I am not a Tamil. I'm a Bengali. So I have not learned Tamil yet. Maybe one day I will learn it and then I can answer your question in Tamil, of course. Yes, sir. Yes, Xavier, sir, please.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
It's an interesting lecture.
Thank you.
I listened to that lecture fully. One thing which I would like to tell you, you have taken two personalities.
Yeah.
One is Dr. Ambedkar and another is Tandai Periyar. Two belong to, Ambedkar belonged to Dalit community and Tandai Periyar belonged to caste Hindus. So they looked the problems of the Dalit people in their own perspective. So accordingly, they have created a history in their perspective. It's a very interesting topic. And my question is, when we look at the problems of Dalit people, most of our historians focused much on the sufferings of the Dalit people than that of how they liberated themselves from the clutches of, the caste issues. So they always looked the problems of Dalit people than that of the problems of the revolutionary ideas of Dalit people. So if our Dalit historians focused more on the revolutionary ideas, the evolution changes, it would be better. That's my opinion. I hope you also agreed the same now.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you for this insight. It's very important. That's what I'm saying. That's what I say. The historiography is important because not only to show that, see, these are the problems, you have faced this, you have faced this. Historiography is important to show the solution. Historiography is important to show the resistance, that you are facing the problem. Now, how you are going to solve the problem? So you are absolutely right to say that not only the sufferings, but how these sufferings had been resisted, how these sufferings had been fought back. That is the importance of writing historiography. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm glad that I can put the message to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Saravanan. I can see one or two people have raised their hands. Kindly unmute. Yes, Dr. Nikhil. Yes, whoever wants to just you can unmute yourself. Yes, Dr. Nikhil.
Thank you, ma'am, for that wonderful seminar. You did a great comparative analysis.
Thank you.
Between the ways in which Tandai Periyar and Dr. Ambedkar had put forth their ideas. I just have a few questions. So one question is, can Periyar's anti-Brahmin discourse be, let's say, be critiqued for, just putting caste or like even collapsing caste into one single binary, whereas Ambedkar insists on a more granular graded hierarchy of caste, which he talks about. And another question is, like in terms of religion, how do you think Ambedkar's engagement with Buddhism as, let's say, a counter revolution or a counter history compare with that of Periyar's atheistic rationalism as a mode of, let's say, historical resistance?
Okay. Wow, very interesting question. Both the questions are very interesting. So first you said that the first question is that how anti-Brahmanism is a so if you can tell me the first question again. I have a very bad memory. I'm saying first question, Nikhil sir, anti-Brahmanism.
Yes, ma'am. I asked how like Periyar's anti-Brahmin discourse be critiqued for putting caste or the concept of caste into just one binary, whereas Ambedkar insists on a more let's say a subtle, granular and a graded hierarchy.
Right. So it's a very interesting question. Even I'm thinking in right now. So see, both though they are the contemporaries, but I think they have their own way of thinking, and I can't question them because they are the stalwarts. Periyar thought that the social reform is very much important, and he was, I think, being a Hindu, coming from a Hindu cultural society, he maybe religious society, he was very agitated. If I can find, as far as I have read Periyar, he was very agitated with all the systems that Dharma Shastras, Manusmriti had written. And as we all know, he had protested this by burning Manusmriti. It's a political symbol that he had made by burning Rama, image of Rama, burning Manusmriti. So I think every people has their own way of, understanding things or protesting things. Like today, if someone asks me to fight against the caste hierarchy, I maybe take one way of fight it against fight it, the one way of fight it back. If someone asks my friend to take, maybe he or she will be taking another way. So being the two contemporaries, being the two stalwarts of the same time, both of them had taken their own ways, which is, I think, rational for both of them. Ambedkar had found it very easier, or maybe very rational, to make it a law, which is really very important. We can understand the importance of the framing of laws and protecting the rights by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. But along with that, also the radical movement of Periyar also cannot be ignored, because it had questioned the system. It had broken the barrier. See, being a woman, I can understand the importance of questioning Manusmriti mostly. Being a people from different communities also, they can understand. But being a woman also, I can understand that how Manusmriti had clutched us, tried us to confined us into different ideologies and ideas, and different narrations that given to us, which doesn't which is really insulting or downgrading. So yeah, I think I am it is a good thought thrust that you had given to my mind. But according to me, I think both of them in their own way were correct, were rational, and they both were successful in their own way, actually. If I can meet your question there. Another question you have asked, what was that?
Sir Nikhil?
Nikhil sir.
Okay, I think he's
Ma'am, the question is,
Yeah.
In terms of religion, while Dr. Ambedkar has proposed a Navayana Buddhism,
oh yes,
and Periyar took the stand of atheistic view. So can we merge both of them What is your opinion? That a similar question he
I
asked.
don't think so. I don't think so. We can merge because both of them had shown this solution. Two types of solutions. One said that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, with all due respect, he had shown the solution that the solution is to leave the hierarchical process of the Brahmanical Hindu hierarchical process, and Periyar said that the solution is just to break it down. Just to break it down, not to follow, because you are no one to tell me what to do and what not to do. As a part of Hindu religious culture, I can lead my life through my own way possible. So the both, as I'm telling again and again, the both are the stalwarts. They had taken their ideas, their impression like them, and both were successful in their own way. And it is up to us now that whom we are going to follow, I think.
We'll
Thank you
get
very
two more
much,
questions.
ma'am.
Sorry, Chandra. We'll
This
just
is
like get
Rafael.
two hands up. Madam Ritika.
Joseph?
Sir Rafael, just like 1 minute, sir. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can see two hands. They have like raised their hands for a very long time. Madam Ritika. Sir
Good
Saravanan.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I have simple question. Periyar has one method, Ambedkar has one method to uplift the Dalits' privilege. Which method more impact on Dalits' upliftment?
See, another controversial question, but it's a very good question, I must say. Both are very different ideologies. They are the contemporaries. They were supporting each other, but they did not follow the same methods, actually. That's why I compared them. And in the box, if you had seen the comparative box, the framework that I had given, I have shown their ways. One was radical, and another one is, was radical, and another one is rational. Both were rational, of course. One was rational, radical rational, another one is rational. So some of us can believe that, okay, Ambedkar way was the right way. Some of us can believe that Periyar's way was the right way. Another thing we can say that Periyar was mostly focusing into the regional political dimension on the regional social reform, where Ambedkar also not only had seen the regional one, but he had focused into the nationwide protection of the Dalit rights. So I think both of them were correct in their own ways. I will tell again and again, both of them were correct in their own ways. We need to study them more. We have to understand them more. Mostly it is, Ritika ma'am, it's mostly our understanding that whom we are going to support. Are we going to support the rational or the radical rationalism? That's it.
Sir Rafael.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Most welcome.
So first of all, I would like to thank for the wonderful session organized in view of Dr. Ambedkar's birth anniversary. I'm very glad that the Dalit historiography has been taken seriously, and we have reached to the level where a great historian from Bengal, namely Susmita Banerjee,
great historian,
to initiate the process, and making young budding historians to think about it. Quite interesting, and your outline was excellent. You nicely articulated the historical trajectory way of dealing, and beautifully compared Dr. Ambedkar with Ivera Periyar, all those things. Thank you very much, ma'am. I thank the organizer for the thing. Yeah. Only thing is, the next level we have to move on. That is my interest. What I want to say is that nowadays people, the mainstream historians, they demand, one of the critics or challenges they place before Dalit historian is that they should have a theory to support whatever they write. And that way, indirectly, they put down all these autobiographies like Karuk, whatever may be. And that way, so we love to historians and experts should move on to the next level. Currently, I'm reading a book titled Dalit Intellectuals, Ideas, Struggles and the Vision by Yagati Chinnarao. and Rajshekhar Babu. So these people propose and they try to evolve a lot of methodologies. We can, in a way, compete or convince the mainstream historians, take into account the Dalit accounts, oral, written, so far, tradition, all these things. So I think while discussing this one, initiating budding historians to know about Dalit history, where it stands, greater historians should move on to join hands with people like Rao sir and Babu sir. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. I can see a question here. Shakti sir has written, I have one doubt. When we talk about history from below, many real voices are still missing or not properly recorded. So how can we make sure that we are representing those voices in a genuine way? It's very difficult question, very beautiful, but very difficult question. We face this. See, I have while I was also doing my research work, I had done on tribal studies, tribal history, and gender tribal history, basically. So when I was working, I am also sure that like I had done this unstructured interviews with different sampling methods, and I am also sure that I have also missed very important voices. Even I know that there are different women who were running, different important organizations which are for women. I could not take their interviews. I could not take their voices also. So this happened. So one of the most important way, or one of the scientific way to ignore or to do our work properly, or to record all the proper voices, is to have a structured list, structured questionnaire, and about a structured information that who are the most important. Like, see, everyone cannot be a voice. Okay, voices are if there are 40 people, voices can be 2 or 4. So you have to be very sure that from whom you can take the information for, and this is a continuous process. Actually, I'm sure that when you will work, I think you are working into it, or maybe worked into it. That's why you are asking this question, that still voices are missing. But it's inevitable. It's inevitable. If we have to take all the voices, even after taking all of the voices also, maybe we miss one of those important one. So genuine way, of course, to take a list before, to know what is your questionnaire, to focus, to make a focus group, that these are the focus group, these are the people that I'm going to focus into, I'm going to ask question to. I think that would be the right way. There is no genuine way, but this is the highest possible way to take the right voices, or to take the right representation while you are doing your research or writing history from below.
Okay, participants, thank you for your engagement. That's all the time we have for questions. Now I humbly request Dr. Joseph Rohit to close out the session with the vote of thanks.
So I take this opportunity to express my sincere vote of thanks for today's insightful session. I sincerely thank Dr. Susmita, which I'm not used to calling you. She's a good friend, Susmita, for her enlightening lecture on writing history from below. Her perspectives on Dalit historiography and the works of Ambedkar and Periyar were truly valuable. We are especially grateful, as we just it was very such short notice. She accepted our invite. She didn't have much time to prepare. So thank you for the wonderful lecture, Susmita. So I also extend my gratitude to the entire organizing committee of scholars, Circulī. And I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Vasanthi Vijayakumar, Vice Chancellor, and eminent historian, Professor Sajal Nag, eminent historian, Dr. S. Jivanandam. Then we have our faculties, Dr. R.K. Maya, Dr. P. Sadasivam, Dr. S. Xavier, Dr. Sasileka, Dr. Lindsay, Dr. Gambre, Dr. Richena, and Dr. Roshni for their gracious presence and participation amidst their busy schedule. And we also thank our participants for their active presence. I would also like to inform you that our lecture series is held on second Saturday of every month, and we look forward to your continued participation. Thank you so much. Have a good night.